We're doing our questions and answer series. Preparing for Gaura Purnima, most exciting time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us the teachings of pure bhakti, very simple way, by hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna. Empowered Rupa Goswami. We're all Rupa Nugas, followers of Rupa Goswami. Srila Prabhupada dedicated Bhakti Rasamrita, nectar of devotion, for the benefit of all the devotees, so that we can understand how we can come closer to Krishna with love and devotion. And Gaura Purnima is a time to remember Chaitanya Nityananda. Shri Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jai. Very merciful. So if you have questions, you can put them forward. We have our question person receiver, and we'll try our best to answer your questions according to the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and his books. That Bhagavatam was based on questions and answers. Shukadeva Goswami was praising Parikshit Maharaj that these are beautiful questions meant for the benefit of all mankind. And the question basically is how to get free from the cycle of birth and death and suffering in this material world, repeated miseries. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very merciful, very kind. Patita Pavana Gaura Hari, Lord Nityananda is always happy. Lord Chaitanya is extremely happy and always in the mood of love of the gopis for Krishna. So we need to reawaken our love for Krishna by this process of chanting the Lord's holy name. Srila Prabhupada opened up Krishna Balaram Mandir. We have Gaura Nitai, the incarnation for this age. Krishna Balaram in Bharatvarsh. Most people know about Krishna and Balaram. What to speak of Lalita Vishaka, Radha Shama Sundar. So the Lord comes in many forms. According to the reciprocal loving devotion with his devotees, he manifests himself. Even in the spiritual world, there's unlimited variety, unlimited Vaikuntha planets. Goloka Vrindavan, obviously, is the most intense place for Madhurya Ras, but all the rasas are perfect and complete for the worshipper and the worshipped. So Krishna, he's also very loving, and he comes repeatedly to give us understanding and knowledge, how we can get beyond this bodily concept of life, thinking this is my family, this is my nation, this is my society, these are my duties, these are my responsibilities. But ultimately, all our endeavors, all our efforts that we put forward in this lifetime are taken away at the time of death. Even our loved ones, we come together for a short time and we're dispersed again in the wheel of the chakra of samsara, repeated birth and death. So human life is very valuable, meant specifically for awakening that bhakti ras, learning where to repose our love. Everyone is looking for love, everyone's looking for happiness. Businessmen have so many questions. What's the market rate? How do I increase my profits? What is a hot commodity? Let us purchase these things. Let us work hard all day and amass a lot of money. Then we can have unlimited sense pleasure. We can have unlimited opulence and comfort. But none of these comforts and opulences which are obtained in this material world with extreme hardship and endeavor, they're just temporary distractions. But if we want real happiness, real love, we'll take shelter at Rupa Goswami's teachings of chanting the Lord's holy name without any motivation, no philosophical speculations, no ideas of sense gratification. How can I profit by serving my Guru or Krishna? All these things are very nicely explained by the surrendering to the process to the Guru. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I hope to answer something. I remember many years ago in Miami, we were very excited about book distribution and giving this message of Godhead for all the conditioned souls. This is a missionary spirit. And Srila Prabhupada imbibed this missionary spirit in us and encouraged us that you go out and distribute books, preach, enthusiastically chant and dance, stay in the society of Vaishnavas, of devotees, and avoid the non-devotee association. Because ultimately those who are materialistic, lusty, angry, greedy, all these are stumbling blocks for one's spiritual life. Association with devotees comes in the form of associating with Bhagavad Gita, associating with Srimad Bhagavatam, coming to the Holy Dham, participating in the spiritual festivals. Then you'll feel real happiness and joy awakened by the Kirtan with the devotees.
What is the devotion and what is the pure devotion?
What is devotion and what is pure devotion? Some people think, well, I'm devoted to my family, I'm devoted to my wife and children, I'm devoted to my nation. This is more of a sentiment. We're devoted because it gives us pleasure too. But as we begin our journey in spiritual life, we are trying to, whatever we do, we use it in the service of Krishna. Yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat jahoshi, dadasi, yat tapasyasa konteya, tad kuru shwadmad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever work you perform, whatever you offer as a sacrifice or give away, give it to me, give it to Krishna. So in the beginning, we may still have different attachments and misunderstandings, but we're making offerings, even preparing the food offered to the Lord with devotion. But pure devotion it's untinged by any material desire, not tainted with mental speculation. Like the pure love of the gopis, when Ramananda Roy was giving analysis of what is spiritual advancement, following Varnashram Dharma, following rules and regulations. This is devotion also, that you have to be religious and follow according to scripture. But that spontaneous love that all you can think about is Krishna, how to serve Him, how to love Him, and without any motive for your own personal satisfaction, that's pure devotional service.
Prabhuji, how can I manage my student life and spiritual life? Because wherever I am more inclined towards one, the other seems to be lagging.
The other?
How can I manage my student life and spiritual life?
How can I manage my student life and my spiritual life?
Because wherever I am more inclined towards one, the other seems to be lagging.
When I'm more inclined to one, the other seems to be lacking. We have certain responsibilities, just like Raghunath Das Goswami. He was very eager to leave his family, leave his home, and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately. He was very enthusiastic. But Lord Chaitanya said, no. You go back and do your duties properly. Wait for the proper opportunity, and Krishna will give you intelligence how you can come to be with me. So, depending on your family situation, your age, many students, they like to have the basic educational preliminaries just to be able to function in society. But the best education is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and fully associating with devotees and engaging in devotional service. It's described in the Bhagavatam that Prahlad Maharaj told all his class friends that just give up all this nonsense and just chant the holy name of the Lord, and this way awaken your bhakti. So most important thing is just keep reading with enthusiasm, with a desire to serve. Chant very carefully, pray to the Lord. The Lord's in the heart, He's listening, watching. And He says, Sarvasya chahang hridisanavisto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Krishna's guiding us. The memory comes from Krishna, remembrance comes from Krishna, and forgetfulness comes from Krishna. So you should do your basic studies as a general study, but your main focus and your main attention should be how to develop your love for Krishna. The example is given that if a married woman is attracted to Krishna, she does all her duties at home nicely so that there's no suspicion that she's meditating on something other than that. But the one who's meditating on the paramour, the lover, is always thinking about that. So always think about eventually being fully engaged in Krishna's service with love, but don't neglect your family or social responsibilities. But they must be favorable for Krishna consciousness. That's the barometer. That if it's unfavorable for your Krishna consciousness, then you have to intensify give preference to your devotional service.
What is the meaning of Harinam?
What is the meaning of Harinam?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari is the name of the Lord who takes away all our suffering. Hari, He frees us from the entanglement of this material world. And the Nam is the name of the Lord. Because the Lord incarnates, although Krishna is everywhere, but there are many impersonalist Mayavadi philosophies thinking, well, God's everywhere, I'm God, you're God, we're all God. Yes, in one sense everything is God. But specifically, God is a person. He has an identity. He has relationships with every living being. So Harinam, this is a glorification of the Lord's name. And the more we can hear the name of the Lord and chant the name of the Lord, it's like there may be a fire there. You might be holding an iron bar here, but if it's far away, it's warming up slightly. But if you put the iron rod inside the fire, it becomes red hot and burns like fire. So, but the Harinam means that we're always chanting the names of the Lord, and then the Lord is always present within our mind, within our heart. He's cleansing our existence. So even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, Nam Namakari Bahudani Jasarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amitasmaranena Kala, that you have so many unlimited holy names, but I don't have an attraction for them. But still, he was always chanting the name. So the Harinam is that, chanting Krishna's holy name, and that's the highest connection, and that love will develop and blossom as it matures.
Okay. What is the similarity and difference between consciousness and Krishna consciousness?
What is the similarity and difference between consciousness and Krishna consciousness? There is none. Consciousness means Krishna consciousness, because the consciousness is a symptom of the soul. Without the soul, there's no consciousness. It's dead matter. So we have the eternal, the marginal, and the external energies of the Lord. The external is the mundane world. The marginal is the conditioned soul who is bewildered and entrapped, trying to enjoy the temporary world. Whereas this eternal reality is the supreme absolute truth. So he's the supreme conscious one, Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bahunam Yo Vididati Kaman. So that supreme eternal is Krishna. He's the original supreme person. From him comes many incarnations and manifestations, and his expansion is all of us. We're also little expansions of Krishna. And so Krishna is always fully conscious, we're minutely conscious, but that consciousness is Krishna consciousness, but temporarily it's covered over or discolored by in contact with material existence. So there's no difference, consciousness and Krishna consciousness.
I am not able to build my career. What should I do?
Not able to build my
Career.
carrier?
Yeah, what should I do?
What is carrier?
I'm not...
Career.
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 Okay, sorry. Not able to build your career, what should do? Again, we give the example of Srila Prabhupada. He had an opportunity to be with the biggest chemist in all of, Calcutta and Bengal, and so much opportunity was there. But Krishna made the arrangements for him to just renounce his career and involve himself and engage himself in the mission of Paradukha Dukhi, because out of compassion and love for the conditioned souls, to become a Vaishnava is very, very rare. So careers are basically meant for monetary stability. You want to have respect in society that, I have a nice career, a nice family, nice home. It's still on an external level. Our real career should be that we are full-time devotees of the Lord, engaged in devotional service. Of course, if we have the chanting of the holy name as our focal point, and we're reading the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and getting inspired in this way, Krishna will guide us how to take care of our monetary necessities as well. It's not that we become lazy, good for nothing, parasites, and like sometimes people think in society that we drop out of society, we don't do any work, and we're just chanting and dancing. Chanting and dancing is very important. When Brahmananda wanted to give up his job as teacher, Prabhupada said, no, you work honestly and you use the proceeds for the pushing on Krishna consciousness. So it depends on what level of consciousness you're at. You try to solidify the best you can your career so that you have some stability. And if Krishna is giving you extra funds, you use it for spreading Krishna consciousness. If Krishna takes it away, no loss, because you have the holy name, you have the association of devotees, Krishna will protect you.
Why one day, or in a one moment, we decide to go by ourselves and leave Krishna and Vaikuntha from where we were. Why this anartha and why this desire to be independent?
So why do we have this anartha or desire to be independent, and sometimes we leave Krishna and devotional service? Why did this come about? We've been a long time conditioned in this material world. It's very difficult to trace out in history exactly when we've fallen from the spiritual world and how long we've been rotating in the cycle of birth and death. And even one who makes a little bit of advancement in his devotional process, neha vikramu nashasti pratyavayana vijite swapamapisat daritmasya trayate mahatobayat. Even a little advancement in devotional service can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. And that most dangerous type of fear is forgetfulness of Krishna, again being put into the cycle of birth and death. Because not always there's animal life, there's plant life, there's demigod life, there's demon life. Human form of life is the most opportunistic opportunity by the Lord, given as a gift. So if we're taking up Krishna consciousness, we should feel gratitude and feel very, very thankful to have an opportunity to make advancement in spiritual life. But Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratyaya, this divine energy of the Lord is difficult to overcome because we want to live independently. That's why we came to this material world. If a criminal says, well, why do I have a criminal mentality? This misuse of independence, reluctance to abide by authority and surrender to the Supreme Lord. So lessons have to be learned, and you pray to Krishna to give you strength so that you can also have the resilience not to leave Krishna and Krishna's devotees and stay fixed in your daily routine of hearing and chanting and increasing it whenever you can. It takes time, it's difficult, but Krishna says with constant practice and detachment you can learn to control the mind and control the senses. This is the meaning of sannyas, becoming a Vishuddha Sattva Brahmana, pure-hearted. That means that you're given strength from a spiritual standpoint. Parang drishtva nivardate, a higher taste awakens to give you strength to overcome the weakness of leaving Krishna and being independent.
What should we do to take bhakti seriously? I am taking it as forgotten.
What should we do to take bhakti seriously? As it is written?
Forgotten. I am taking it as forgotten.
Again, we're all individuals, and just the very fact that we're endeavoring to some degree in Krishna consciousness, we're making great advancement. Ajamil, he was a young man, he was performing his religious duties, but he got sidetracked by prostitute, got sidetracked by desire for sex life and enjoying this material world and forgetting all about God. And somehow, because he named his son Narayan, he was calling out the name of the Lord. There was great benefit, and he was given an opportunity by the Vishnu Dutas to see his death before him and see how he was being dragged to a hellish condition of life. So it's a matter of our intensity of desire. If you want to become successful in anything in this world, you have to apply yourself with resolute determination, whether it's being a musician or a millionaire or a great dancer or singer or performer. Many talents are there. It's all the ability in man is given by God. So we've started out in Krishna consciousness, and just keep the faith, the shraddha, and I find increase your reading, read out loud, and have a steady times for reading, and regulate the hearing of the Lord's holy name. That you made a vow, make some kind of vow, like they have New Year's resolutions, especially when you take initiation before the Guru, before the fire, before the deities, before all the assembled Vaishnavas. We're making certain commitments that yes, I will follow the rules and regulations of bhakti, and I'll avoid the sinful activities, and this way Krishna will protect us. But if there is a slight deviation and or you trip and fall, you get back up again and stay in the association of devotees and pray to become stronger and healthier so you don't lose your opportunity for this Krishna bhakti.
How do we balance family life bhakti while still trying to advance in bhakti and surrender?
How do we balance our family life and bhakti? Well, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Krishna created this brahmachari life. In the beginning is, according to Krishna's direction in Varnashram Dharma, the student is taught by the guru and the teacher about the importance of having a strong spiritual foundation. And being in this material world, because of our misuse of our material senses, wanting to enjoy separately from Krishna, Krishna understands, okay, now you take a wife and you have Krishna conscious children, you follow the rules and regulations, your desires to be with the opposite sex are fulfilled in that way, in a religious way, not just freely running like the animals here and there, and with whoever and whatever. So there's a certain regulation to help bring us to the mode of from anger, ignorance and passion to the mode of goodness. And by cultivating that pure goodness, by engaging your family and hearing the Bhagavatam and chanting together, performing the various ceremonies and associating with devotees. Although difficulties are there, the temptation is there for everyone. One famous story, one brahmachari was complaining to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this temple, there's so much Maya in this temple. And Prabhupada said, you show us that place, there's no Maya, we shall all go there. So Maya is available for everyone because we want to enjoy. So Maya covers us and allures us, yes, come, and I will kick you. So Maya business is to keep those who are full of material desires, those who want to extract the enjoyment from the material energy for their own purposes, selfishness. That'll continue on, and we've been doing that since time immemorial. So family responsibilities are good as long as the family is centered around Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his appearance is coming, and most of the top devotees, I shouldn't say top, not categorizing, many of the very exalted Vaishnavas were married and had children, had responsibilities, but their life was dedicated to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Their household was centered around making offerings to the Lord. The Lord was in the center of their family, and the responsibility of taking care of children, educating them, protecting them, giving them health, satisfying the wife so that she is peaceful in her Krishna consciousness. The husband is satisfied because of the cooperation of the family members. It's not easy, it's difficult, but still we have a responsibility. Then naturally, Vanaprastha, when it's time to get more serious and turn up your spiritual dedication, devotion and activities, and then eventually in the mood of total renunciation, sannyas, we're ready to enter back to the spiritual kingdom. So it will not be an impediment if it's properly utilized. And sometimes, well, many times there's many lessons to be learned with the hard struggle to keep your Krishna consciousness strong and maintain a healthy family life without being neglectful or irresponsible.
Is having a lover before marriage a sin if we are not engaged in anything physical?
Having a lover before marriage?
A sin if we are not engaged in anything physical.
Illicit. Well, everybody's their brothers and sisters, and everyone's looking for love in this world. So if we're thinking to repose our love in another person, that's also just a temporary. It's like putting water on the leaves and twigs. We're missing the central point, the root. Krishna is the root of everything and everyone. So we may have had many lovers and or intimate relationships with other living entities, but all these, if they're not centered around Krishna consciousness, are based on our own, you gratify me, I'll gratify you, together we will be happy. But that happiness is never there in the material world. It's unfortunate. But even though you may have a loving relationship with someone, and if you both can awaken your Krishna consciousness, you can carry on, because Prabhupada had love for each and every one of us. He had love for everyone. When he see anybody suffering, he would cry. So this is the real sama, the vision of equal vision, seeing a brahmana, a dog eater, seeing everybody with love and equality. So there's no harm if you had a lover, just engage that lover in Krishna consciousness and your life will become complete.
So how to strengthen our service attitude and deepen our relationship to Guru and Krishna?
How do we deepen our relationship with Guru and Krishna? When the devotees ask Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what will make you happy? That you become Krishna conscious. And how do you become Krishna conscious? Follow the instructions, follow your authority. We have a Guru Parampara, from Krishna to Brahma to Narada, Vyasadeva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Srila Prabhupada. This knowledge is being handed down very, very carefully. And Srila Prabhupada made it in such a way that rise early in the morning, take bath, chant the holy names of the Lord, attend the Mangal Arti, worship Tulsi Devi, chant the Mahamantra in the association of devotees, read and hear Bhagavatam, sit in the Kirtan, perform your duties with enthusiasm, with a desire to please. You're cooking, you cook beautifully so Krishna's happy. You're dressing, dress wonderfully. You're out doing book distribution, do it enthusiastically with determination and steadiness. So vyavasta yatmika buddhi reke hakuru nandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayanam. Devotees are resolute in their determination, fixed in their purpose. But those who are materialists, those who want to simply take their spiritual life in a cheap way, sentimental, and are more interested in gratifying their senses, then they'll find excuses why not to associate with devotees or read and chant and or follow the directions of the Guru. This will enhance your relationship with the spiritual master by becoming more Krishna conscious.
Next question. Please tell us something about Gaura Purnima.
Tell something about Gaura Purnima. Krishna and Balaram gave us the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. This is just 5,000 years ago. The Lord's been appearing again and again and again. But as Kali Yuga is progressing, this is the age of darkness, quarrel, hypocrisy. People are short-lived, slow in spiritual advancement, their memories. They don't have much memory or ability to retain. So, out of kindness and mercy, the time was right that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had various reasons for appearing, and he sent Jagannath Mishra, Mother Sachi, Advaita Acharya came, Lord Nityananda appeared, various associates of the Lord. The Lord was going to appear in his hidden Gupta incarnation in Kali Yuga in the form of golden color. Why? Because Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya, that Krishna is Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. He's God, the Supreme Lord. And his first expansion is Balaram, but also Srimati Radharani is an expansion of Krishna. So Krishna, when he sees the love, the attraction that Srimati Radharani has for him, he cannot, from his point of view, understand it. Of course, that's just per word analysis. God can understand everything. But he physically, personally appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for spreading the Sankirtan mission of giving the Yuga Dharma, the religion for this age. Kali Kalir Dharma Krishna Nam Sankirtan. Goloke Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. So this is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to give guidance and freedom to all the suffering conditioned souls. At the same time, relishing the intimate love that Srimati Radharani experiences in expressing her love and attraction to Krishna. What is that intensity of love? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally tasting that same mood of Srimati Radharani and the gopis of Braj. It's also to show us that there's something much higher, much deeper than the temporary activities of sense gratification, economic, that money profiteering, trying to enjoy all the pleasures that money can buy in this world, where we grow old, we get diseased, and we die. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us eternal life. And this is the significance of Gaur Purnima. It's like the sun and moon simultaneously arising to brighten our eyes, because we're all born in darkness. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We're born in the darkness of ignorance because of being trapped in this dark material world, temporary world full of miseries. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is brightening. He's calling Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. So the Lord is calling us, wake up. Imagine you're lying and there's a fire burning down the house and you're sleeping. So somebody said, wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? So we've been doing this for a long time, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to show us his beautiful pastimes, the love he has with all his devotees, all the lessons to be taught by Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is to reawaken our loving relationship with the Lord. So there's significance. Janmashtami is very significant. The Lord appears in this world to save us out of love for all his souls. And Chaitanya is non-different than Radha Krishna. So, Gaur Purnima ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. When I try to increase my sadhana, so I do it nicely for a few weeks, and after that again start to love and get back, lag and get back to my old sadhana. How to increase sadhana constantly?
So sometimes we're doing good sadhana, then again we start getting lackadaisical and it goes back to its old habit. It's called Bhoga Tyag. That means one is trying to enjoy this world and he gets fed up with it, gets frustrated. Okay, I want to renounce. But that renunciation, if there's no jnana, there's no real vairagya. So we're cultivating Gyan, knowledge, by hearing from Krishna in the form of Bhagavad Gita, by hearing from Shukadeva Goswami, Vyasadeva in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we're taking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's method of the holy name to help Chaito Darpana Marjanam, cleanse the heart. So the enthusiasm and determination may be there, just like in there's many things. I know that learning foreign languages, people get very enthusiastic. Okay, I'm going to learn Hindi, or I'm going to learn, Spanish, Italian, Russian, whatever, English. And some effort is put there, but then when we see the challenges that are, and what is required, the amount of determination that's required to really fulfill your objective of becoming successful, then the mind sometimes says, this is a little too hard, let's just go back and let's get a little bit of relaxation and pleasure in life. So this Bhoga Tyag, the Tyag has to be enhanced with Gyan, knowledge. And the formula is the same, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Hopefully that you'll build up enough strength that after longevity, of course some people have more determination than others, but the more we understand what is the goal of our sacrifice, of our yajna, we're performing a sacrifice on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and on behalf of our spiritual master, but also for us too, that we also want to be instrumental. And for some reason, if we get distracted, look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his servant Krishnadas being with the Lord somehow these gypsies allured him with beautiful women and many. So it's not that, oh, now I've taken up Krishna consciousness, I'm free of all desires, and I'm not going to get hung up again in my old bad habits. The allurements can come and will come, but we need to progressively also strengthen our spiritual practices, and we need to keep good association, avoid bad association, because that fosters or that enhances your desire to enjoy in this material world, and then we fall away from our steady devotional practices. As we more mature, as our roots become more stabilized, then we'll have more strength to withstand the temptations of the allurements.
Okay. Next question, Prabhuji, what is the importance of a regulated life followed in Krishna consciousness?
What is the importance of following a regulated life in Krishna consciousness? Well, this is the formula for strength and stability. Early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. And any scriptural teaching and or sound philosophical advice that rising early in the morning and hearing knowledge of the absolute truth, calling out the names of God, doing worship, all these are, since time immemorial, sadhu shastra guru. It's like a guru parampara understanding that one who's regulated in his devotional practices, he gains strength. The Goswamis were very regulated in the amount of chanting and the amount of obeisances, and just how they didn't waste one moment of their time on frivolous activities. So regulation is good for your health, your mental well-being, and also gives you strength in your devotional practices. So be regulated. Bhagavad Gita says, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. And then you're endeavoring, you're working, but work for Krishna. Don't be working like an ass, carrying the heavy load for temporary, illusory pleasures of this world, which will be taken away at the time of death, which could happen at any moment. So regulate yourself in spiritual practices. Don't regulate yourself in sinful activities.
Okay, what is the actual meaning of life?
What is the actual meaning of life? The whole material world was created by Krishna. It's like you say, what is the meaning of the persons in the prison house? What is the purpose of the prisoner's life? The purpose is to reform his character and become a free man. So we're all imprisoned in this material world, caught up in misidentifying with the ego, with the external physical body, with our family, with our community, our nation, just basically in a bodily platform. So the purpose of life is to become free from the false identification with the temporary body and awakening our spiritual existence. Aham Brahmasmi, I'm eternal, I'm spirit soul, I'm part of Krishna, I'm a servant of Krishna. I don't belong in this material world, I belong in the spiritual world. Sometimes when things become very challenging and difficult, people say, I'm not part of this world, I can't relate to this material world. Because this world is full of suffering, envy, jealousy. People are simply growing old and dying, and sometimes dying in a very young age. So the purpose of life is to purify our consciousness, which has been muddied. Coming in contact with material life, it's muddied consciousness. So we want to purify our consciousness so it becomes crystal clear, like pure Krishna consciousness, and we can see and understand Krishna and serve Him with our heart and soul.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, started my Krishna consciousness journey very recently with Krishna, Radharani basis. I follow the duty you just mentioned. Why do I still get the doubts?
So you just started your devotional practices, and you're following the prescription, but still the doubts are coming. Because we've been doubting for many lifetimes. It's conditioning. It's conditioning. It's just like a hardened prisoner or someone who's in a prison house for a long period of time. He doesn't know what this real free life is, what real freedom is. So in the beginning, we still may have doubts, but it says Shraddha, then what's next? Sadhu Sangha. By associating with those who do have faith, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, then all our bad habits fall away. Anartha Nivritti Syat. So Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, then Ruchi, then the taste starts, solidifying and coming. You start experiencing the happiness and the favorable outcome of following this devotional bhakti marga, this devotional service. We may not feel all the time super enthusiastic. At times we may have our doubts, but we should apply our logic, our reason, and our philosophical inquiries, because this is the most comprehensive science, history, and authority. If you look at all scripture, or look at all books of philosophy, logic, and psychology, Krishna consciousness is so far superior, so much more authentic, and just by allowing yourselves to become an instrument to hearing the Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavad Gita, and working on chanting the holy name of the Lord sincerely, then your strength will increase. It takes some time.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Krishna provides vision to everyone, so they nurture life in perfect manner.
Krishna provides reason in everyone.
Vision to everyone. So they nature life is perfect manner. I don't know what is the word.
Material nature is set up in such a way as to facilitate the desires of the conditioned souls. So the illusion of water in the desert, or sometimes even on the street, if the sun is shining, you see patches of water. So even all the allurements of this material world are facilitating our subtle and gross desires. But then the instruction is given in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam that we belong in the spiritual kingdom, so we should dovetail everything that we're doing in this world for the pleasure of Krishna. I'm not sure if I understood the full question, because I didn't understand what you said so much, but I just reflected.
Last question.
Last question.
When we should read Bhagavatam? After reading small books and Bhagavad Gita or anything?
When should we read Srimad Bhagavatam? After reading the small books or any time? I say read Bhagavad Gita, read it out loud, but also you can start Bhagavatam. I used to read 2 or 3 books, whether it's half an hour and then half an hour and half an hour, and start from the very, very beginning, because Srila Prabhupada, these are spiritual ecstasies coming from Krishna himself in the form of his Bhaktivedanta purports. So you can start the Bhagavatam immediately. But read Bhagavad Gita simultaneously, start from the beginning, and then read Bhagavatam. And also, some of the small books are good as well, because you'll see how everything is tied together, and how all the pieces of the puzzle starts becoming clear. Oh, how do I regulate my life? How to become regulated? How to increase my focus on my japa? How to appreciate more the reading, the philosophy, the association of devotees? You start really building a good foundation for your Krishna consciousness. But I like reading out loud. Start from the beginning and systematically go through and keep going through. It's got a beautiful, beautiful formula, great medicine. Hearing Bhagavatam, hearing Gita, and chanting the holy name in the association of devotees, that is devotional service. But you can also do other things Krishna will reveal to you through his representatives. So this is a good time to make a commitment to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, the Sankirtan mission. Jare dakotare kaho Krishna upadesha maragai guru hoy tare desh. One who knows the science of Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, he's better than a Brahmana, he's better than a caste Goswami. Not that we're looking for, who's better, who's not, but this is recognized by Krishna. Kiba vipra kiba nashi shudra kene no ye Krishna tattva veta se guru hoy. It doesn't matter you're born in a Shudra family, because in Kali Yuga, everyone's considered to be low born. Even if one is born in an exalted Brahminical family, if he doesn't, utilize his time and energy for cultivating Krishna consciousness or the science and philosophy of bhakti, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, nectar devotion, then he loses this opportunity. So we should take advantage of this wonderful appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially on that day, it's good to, on special holy days, do a little marathon, extra reading, extra chanting, extra service for the Lord. And this will give us great strength. Just like when people go to the fitness centers, the gyms, they do it in a routine, regulated way, and they find their health is improving regularly. So if we are daily rising early, attending the programs enthusiastically, increasing our hearing and chanting, then we'll be in a better state of mind. Our love for others and compassion for others will be there. We'll see Krishna, everything he's for him. Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna is supreme proprietor. He created everything. He's a friend of everyone. And that devotee who can preach this message of Godhead is very dear to the Lord. So this is our whole purpose, is to follow in Srila Prabhupada's footsteps of spreading this Harinam Sankirtan and spreading the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. So we're finished with questions and answers?
Yeah.
So I want to thank everyone very much who participated, and I think it's recorded, so for future purposes you can hear some questions and answers. Come visit Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir, visit our website iskanvrindavan.com. You can see all the different projects which are developing. We're opening a brand new museum for Srila Prabhupada, and also replacing Srila Prabhupada's asana in his samadhi, marble, very beautiful asanas coming. For the pleasure of all the devotees, to see Srila Prabhupada, he's here in samadhi in Vrindavan, and to feel the spiritual potency just spilling out. You can see when the pilgrims come and they visit, they see the beauty of the deities, they hear the Kirtan, and they're transported to a different world, spiritual world. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.